Sincere thanks to all our audience. To continue watching videos without ads, you can subscribe via the Gumroad link below the description. If you want to watch the latest free videos, you can visit ourdailyblog.com. If you continue to love and support us, you can donate to us via GiveSendGo or PayPal or Gumroad link below the description. God bless us all. Restored Republic via GCR, update as of March 16, 2026. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website ourdailyblog.com. Duty note: you are advised to prepare for 10 days of communication darkness, including bank and ATM closures while Trump's global military alliance made mass arrests of Satan-worshipping deep state elites across the world. The Illuminati deep state cabal crimes of money laundering, pedophilia, blackmail, child torture and sacrifice revolved around a massive international child sex trafficking ring run by the Vatican, with major locations in Israel, Ukraine and Washington, D.C. Satan worship, child torture, pedophilia and human sacrifice in honor of Satan has been used by these Satanists to blackmail politicians into doing the cabal's bidding and control the world. That was what President Trump and his global military alliance were in the process of taking down. That was why Trump recently arrested Obama and the Clintons, major leaders of the worldwide satanic occult. Back 6 years ago in April 2020, I wrote a series of articles on Trump's rescue of kidnapped, tortured, raped and murdered children caught in the Ninth Circle child sacrifice cult that was connected to Epstein, the Clintons, Obamas and other global elites. It was used to blackmail politicians to maintain their grip on the global financial system and world affairs. Here was one article written Tuesday, April 21, 2020. Links to other like articles could be found in #D of this update. Over 50,000 traumatized children rescued by military out of tunnels beneath U.S. cities. Duty note: links in this article have long ago been pulled from the internet. I left them in to show that they once existed for public review. The count on Tuesday, April 21, 2020 was over 50,000 traumatized, malnourished and deceased children who have been pulled out of underground tunnels across the nation by the U.S. military and Marines since last October. The operations were authorized under President Trump as Commander-in-Chief, General Mark Milley and other military generals of the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. Unfortunately, there were more operations to go to save the children, according to Timothy Charles Holmseth, reporter for the task force. Malnourished, caged and tortured children have been rescued, or found deceased, in underground tunnels beneath large and small U.S. cities, including one beneath New York's Central Park. Another tunnel was said to run from the Clinton Foundation building to the New York Harbor. In Central Park, New York City, many of the babies and children rescued out of a tunnel into medical tents were deceased or dying by the time they got to the top and didn't make it. The babies and children had lived their whole lives in the tunnel, couldn't be exposed to light and needed ventilators. Piles of little corpses, babies born to teens and even preteens in the tunnels who had never seen the light of day, deformed and traumatized children. Preteens and teens who were evidently experimented upon and electroshocked as part of CIA mind control and genetic experiments, sexually abused, locked in cages, tortured and killed to harvest their organs and adrenochrome for the elites to drink in satanic worship. Over 170,000 sealed indictments filed in federal courts across the nation on those elites were in the process of being served. Most contain charges of pedophilia. Under the authority of Pentagon generals, serving of those indictments and rescues of the traumatized children were ongoing. There was literally an underground war in tunnels across the U.S., with both brave military troops and perpetrators being killed. Apparently for months this secret U.S. military operation has been sweeping an extensive network of underground tunnels across the U.S. and into Canada and Mexico to rescue thousands of horrifically abused children. Recent operations centered beneath major cities in New York, California, Florida, Texas, and Washington. Last October 2019, an unbelievable 2,100 children being held in cages in underground tunnels at the California China Lake military facility were rescued by Navy SEALs and U.S. Marines in a military operation using around 10,000 troops. Recent earthquakes have been caused by the military blowing up deep underground military bases, DUMBs, so they couldn't be used again. Military special forces were discovering many more tunnels beneath cities and towns all over the country. The atrocities against children and youth that took place in the tunnels were so horrendous that if the stories were released right now, they were expected to cause rioting in the streets. The information would eventually be released, but for now we were asked to pray for the children and troops trying to rescue them. Things we think we know that we don't want to know. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Project Constitution just discovered a leaked phone call on the DOJ website that allegedly shows Erica Kirk managing girls for Jeffrey Epstein. The more you do, the more you get paid. He says it has been independently verified and is undeniably Erica Kirk's voice. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Larry Silverstein had breakfast in the North Tower every single day, except on September 11. Coincidentally, that's the day the towers were brought down. Also coincidentally, both his son and daughter were running late to work that morning and were not in the towers when they fell. Also triple coincidentally, Silverstein collected billions from insurance he recently bought on the Twin Towers before they were attacked, the largest insurance settlement in history. Sunday, March 15, 2026, Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, who spoke out about child trafficking, stolen elections, and global elites, was summoned to the Vatican for excommunication and silenced. If the world knew what they hide, governments would collapse. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Senator Ron Johnson on Face the Nation. It's official, Senate Democrats exposed for keeping DHS shut down amid terror threats. CBS reports highlights Sen. Mark Warner and other Democrats maintaining the DHS shutdown despite growing security risks and chaotic DSA lines. Critics call for Republicans to bypass the Democrats and Chuck Schumer by eliminating the filibuster to reopen DHS and protect American safety. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Because of the global currency reset to gold/asset-backed currencies worldwide, banks not Basel III compliant were closing, doors sealed at midnight, assets frozen, executives vanishing into military custody. No statement. No explanation. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Trump's global military alliance have breached underground vaults where trillions were hidden, gold and securities seized, from the corrupt Rothschild/Rockefeller networks which have stolen the people's money since 1913. The gold was now under control of the new U.S. Treasury to back the global currency reset and be given back to the people from which it was stolen. Nothing's going on. That's because the mainstream media won't report it. In March 2026 alone, President Trump has declared the restoration of the now sovereign American Republic under common law, no more admiralty law or unfair debt. Activated the gold/asset-backed global currency reset and returned 209 countries of the world to the gold standard, thereby closing all banks not Basel III compliant. Declared worldwide activation of the NISR and GCR laws as the Great Debt Wipeout begins. Dissolved the privately owned by corrupt bankers Fiat Currency US Incorporated, Bank of London and Vatican Bank. Transferred the once privately owned Federal Reserve to be under the sovereign government of America's new U.S. Treasury. In the process of changing the Internal Revenue Service into the External Revenue Service. No more income tax. The government will now function only on monies from tariffs and a 14% flat tax on new items bought only, with none on food, medicine, used homes or cars, thereby returning taxpayer monies back under control of the people. Trump's global military alliance has arrested, tried in a military tribunal and convicted former U.S. President Bill and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton of treason, child trafficking, and crimes against humanity, sentencing them both to hang. Avoided a nuclear World War III by obliterating Iran's military and nuclear capabilities that Obama and Biden made possible. Obama sent 3 payments to Iran, totaling $1.3 billion. B. Biden cleared the way for the release of $6 billion in frozen Iranian funds. Iran then continued to build up their nuclear program until President Trump called in the military to obliterate it. Among the casualties of that Iran war was Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who was killed by an Iranian attack, or so they say. Netanyahu was said to house the Vatican's international child sex trafficking ring in Israeli underground tunnels, while promoting continual war against Israelis through his Zionism movement. A. In loving memory. The 6 Air Force airmen killed in U.S. military plane crash during Iran war identified as Major John A. Klinner, 33, Captain Ariana G. Savino, 31, Dec. Sergeant Ashley B. Pruitt, 34, Captain Seth R. Koval, 38, Captain Curtis J. Ongst, 30, Tech. Sergeant Tyler H. Simmons, 28. B. Possible timing, Sunday, March 15, 2026. Green light 11:11. The time has arrived. Final alert. Signal window open. Execution phase. The storm is upon us today, dear 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram. On Monday, March 16, 2026 at 12 o'clock GMT, the final activation sequence will start for the worldwide Medbed network according to sources within the Global Quantum Alliance. Also on Monday, March 16, 2026, the 10 Days of Darkness protocol will officially activate according to classified military bulletins. During that window, all media frequencies will be seized and rerouted through the emergency broadcast system. Traditional television, radio, and online platforms will fall silent as Starlink takes command. See Medbed timing. On Monday, March 16, 2026 at 12 o'clock GMT, the final activation sequence will start for the worldwide Medbed network according to sources within the Global Quantum Alliance. This is the culmination of decades of silent warfare against the deep state cabal. For 72 hours, the system will purge the last remnants of their control matrix. Expect disruptions. Expect blackouts. Expect the old world to fight back with its dying breath. What comes after is a new dawn. The end of disease as we know it. The end of Big Pharma's poison. The end of the medical tyranny that has held humanity hostage for a century. This is the storm. We are the storm. EBS Project Odin 10 Days of Darkness final activation, Sunday, March 15, 2026. The time has arrived. Final alert. Signal window open. Execution phase. The storm is upon us today. Green light 1111, Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram. Sunday, March 15, 2026, urgent, Project Odin plus EBS sequence, final activation pangs confirmed, Project Odin martial law on Telegram. Starlink override locked. Mossad media dead. Blackout staging complete. Arrests now, resignations and headlines, watch closely. JFK Jr. symbolism dropped today for a reason. The storm is biblical. The Almighty has spoken. WWG1 forever. Sunday, March 15, 2026. The detonation sequence from March 13 has triggered the global ignition phase. QFS nodes are stabilizing under gold-backed parity while Starlink begins aligning communication grids for full system override. The old world is running on borrowed seconds. Trump Tier 4B activated on Telegram. Classified military bulletins confirm that the 10 Days of Darkness protocol will officially activate on March 16. During that window, all media frequencies will be seized and rerouted through the emergency broadcast system. Traditional television, radio, and online platforms will fall silent as Starlink takes command. The purpose is not suppression. It is revelation. For the first time in modern history, humanity will witness uncensored truth broadcasts, evidence of corruption, hidden tribunals, secret programs, and the full collapse of the fiat empire. Banking networks have already begun limited shutdowns in Europe and the United States. Central servers are being mirrored onto the quantum grid. Every hidden fund and false reserve is being indexed for public audit once the blackout ends. Behind the curtain, governments are surrendering. Negotiations for peaceful transition are underway in over 50 nations as QFS command assumes control of state liquidity. The era of debt-based governance is finished. During the 10 days, expect silence, then light. The documentaries prepared under military supervision will expose everything the cabal built in darkness. Names, operations, financial trails, all revealed through quantum evidence stored since 2020. The event will be global and irreversible. When the blackout lifts, humanity will awaken to a system cleansed of manipulation, powered by truth, and guided by divine law. Wars, Wars and Rumors of Wars, Sunday, March 15, 2026. NBC breaking. President Trump says he's hearing that Iran's Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei is dead, and that Iran desperately wants a ceasefire deal. I'm hearing he's not alive, and if he is, he should do something very smart for his country, and that's surrender. Iran wants to make a deal, and I don't want to make it because the terms aren't good enough yet, Trump told NBC. On the Strait of Hormuz, we are going to be sweeping the strait very strongly, and we believe we'll be joined by other countries who are somewhat impeded, and in some cases impeded from getting the oil. On Khamenei, I don't know if he's even alive. So far, nobody's been able to show him. Global Currency Reset, Saturday, March 14, 2026. The global currency reset to gold/asset-backed currencies worldwide is happening right now. Foreign currency and ZIM bond holders in Tier 4B, us, the Internet Group, should watch for emails from Wells Fargo that will tell you how to set up your foreign currency exchange/ZIM bond redemption appointments. Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram. During the first week of April 2026, redemption centers will start processing live appointments in accordance with full GCR protocol. The schedule is already being filled with authorized, Tier 4B, participants, according to sources within 2 U.S. Treasury branches. We've all been ready for this moment. Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram. Sunday, March 15, 2026 Final GCR synchronization phase, Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram. Global system alignment. Financial networks across multiple regions are now aligning their settlement systems with the quantum-secured infrastructure that has been prepared and tested for years. Once the switch is officially recognized, all participating systems will update simultaneously worldwide. Notification phase. Activation alerts will begin appearing through secure app updates, encrypted wallet notifications, or coordinated system messages. These alerts will guide users through the first steps of accessing the updated financial interface. Wallet access. After activation, users will log into their QFS wallet interface, where updated balances, digital assets, and synchronized financial records will appear. Every change will be permanently recorded on the quantum ledger, ensuring full transparency and verification. Transition stage. The infrastructure is stable and fully prepared. Recent system tests confirmed that the network can operate securely, offline, and without disruption while processing global transaction volume. Everything is aligned. We are now at the threshold of the public activation of the new financial system. What takes place in a redemption center? Biometric authentication will be used to verify your identity. Asset-backed rates will be used to verify and exchange your ZIM, dinar, and dong holdings. A digital quantum card that is directly linked to your sovereign QFS wallet will be given to you. You will receive an overview of project support funds, debt clearance, and post-exchange asset management. Places are strictly regulated. Not a single drop-in. Be prepared, as you will receive a direct encrypted alert with your time slot. Security procedures. Military-grade encryption and surveillance are used to safeguard these facilities. The quantum ledger records every action, which cannot be removed. Judy note, we have been told that Wells Fargo, which is owned by the Chinese elders, the ones who own the gold behind the global currency reset, will send out emails to currency and bondholders worldwide telling them how to set redemption and exchange appointments. It is advised to exchange/redeem your foreign currency at an official redemption center, RC, rather than a bank. You can only redeem ZIM at RC, the dinar contract rate can only be given at RC. And banks will offer you lower exchange rates than what you can obtain at RC. It was my understanding that most banks were under control of the cabal and would soon play a different role in the global financial system. L2s. March 10, 2026 bombshell announcement. President Trump declares restoration of the American Republic, U.S. Incorporated dissolved. Common law sovereignty returns. Mr. Poole on Telegram. Patriots, the storm has hit and it's magnificent. President Donald J. Trump has invoked Article 2 to declare the United States fully sovereign under common law once more. The fake foreign-controlled U.S. Incorporated is finished, dissolved, dead, gone forever. No more admiralty law oppression, no more globalist chains dragging us into debt and war. The deep state grip is broken, the true constitutional republic rises triumphant. This is no mere rhetoric, it's a binding declaration of authority and summons from Trump as Commander-in-Chief. He's seizing full control, sidelining the corrupt swamp and directing the military via the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Every flag officer is oath-bound to obey lawful orders from the legitimate president. No more excuses, no divided allegiances. The military now serves we the people through Trump, not the treasonous corporate facade. Under common law sovereignty, grounded in God-given rights and original founding truths, Trump exercises his prerogative to summon leaders, affirm real authority, and rebuild national defense. This resets America to the founders' vision: no commercial enslavement, no hidden British shadows, just pure liberty. All flag officers are ordered to convene in Virginia, the Republic's sacred cradle, for immediate realignment. This is full military mobilization to restore loyalty and eliminate globalist remnants. The timeline is set, orders issued, clock running. Unity under true command is happening now. Foreign-tied overseas bases and Commonwealth-linked tops. They're being shut down or reclaimed for America. No more secret outposts serving alien masters, no covert pacts bleeding us dry. Trump is smashing the centuries-old crown chokehold on trade and power, and the military reset locks it down. This fulfills Trump's sacred oath to defend the Constitution, protect the people, and preserve the Republic. Every officer and servant must choose, stand with the restored Republic or stand exposed as oath breakers. The line is drawn, no more shadows, no two Americas. One Republic. One Commander-in-Chief. One law, common law. Quanouns, white hats, digital warriors, this is our victory moment. The debt-based, deception-driven U.S. incorporated fraud is overthrown. Military mobilizes under Trump's unbreakable command. Deep state cabal legally crushed, illusions collapsing. Freedom surges back, the Republic is back, sovereign, unbreakable. We witness history, true American Republic restored. Patriots win. God bless President Trump, our military, and the sovereign United States of America. Constitutional Republic of Canada. The only way to Canadian sovereignty, no referendum required, Canada and the 1932 Westminster Statute. Government of Canada, Canada the Illusion Clip 5, Statute of Westminster, 1931. Wars, Wars and Rumors of Wars, Sunday, March 15, 2026. Fox News. Why the war with Iran? Obama sent 3 payments to Iran, totaling $1.3 billion. Biden cleared the way for the release of $6 billion in frozen Iranian funds. Iran then continued to build up their nuclear program until President Trump called in the military to obliterate it. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Secretary Chris Wright. For 47 years, Iran has threatened the Strait of Hormuz, has attacked its neighbors, has killed U.S. soldiers. Just imagine an Iran that's nuclear armed with a massive weapons arsenal to surround those nuclear weapons. Oh, save the children. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Dallas, Texas, 109 children rescued, 244 child predators arrested. Sunday, March 15, 2026. President Trump exposes the truth about child trafficking at the UN. Any system that results in the mass trafficking of children is inherently evil. Yet, that is exactly what the globalist migration agenda has done. What we think we know. As of Monday, March 16, 2026, Sunday, March 15, 2026. Fox News. Former Georgia State Representative Karen Bennett, D., the same radical who pushed hard for Black Lives Matter and defund the police, just pleaded guilty to federal charges for fraudulently stealing taxpayer money through COVID unemployment benefits. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Fox News. President Trump just went hard against Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum for being owned by the cartels. She should not have refused my help. I offered to get rid of the cartels. For some reason, she doesn't want to do that. The cartels are running Mexico. Sunday, March 15, 2026. RFK Jr. drops a devastating truth bomb. Ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine were suppressed not for safety, but to protect a $200 billion vaccine empire. Fauci, Big Pharma, and Big Tech killed the cures to keep control. This is medical betrayal on a national scale. Dan Bongino on Telegram. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Fox News. California fraud could be as high as $434 billion over the last 5 years. And get this, the truth is California has more fraud than the rest of America put together. California is being required to return over $1 billion in federal healthcare funds spent on services for undocumented migrants, according to federal audits. Sunday, March 15, 2026. CIA officially admits cancer is biologically identical to parasites. Johns Hopkins buried cheap antiparasitic drugs that cure cancer in weeks. While the medical cartel, Pfizer, Bayer, AstraZeneca, Merck, J&J, and Roche, owns the entire trillion-dollar cancer industry and profits off your suffering. Dan Bongino on Telegram. Sunday, March 15, 2026. 5 illegal alien human smugglers enabled by Joe Biden's open borders, just got slammed with a combined 89 years in federal prison. These monsters kidnapped a pregnant woman, then brutally raped her in front of her terrified 7-year-old daughter, the 47th on Telegram. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Boom. Rubio draws the line, U.S. cuts citizenship exit fee from $2,350 to $450, visas are a privilege, not a right. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Newsmax bombshell, Obama at the center, sedition, lies, treason. Calls for arrest explode after 2016 plot exposed. It's time to arrest Barack Obama. Sunday, March 15, 2026. Operation Red File, leaked docs expose Obama as foreign enemy, Trump signs military arrest order, JAG tribunals ignite in D.C. Sunday, March 15, 2026 bombshell report, the Comey files, traitor identified. Code Red Justice deployed. Sunday, March 15, 2026 medical bombshell, Dr. William Mackey's exposes how ivermectin cream destroys skin cancer, what Big Pharma doesn't want you to know. Q Sunday, March 15, 2026 Hillary Clinton's email to pizza man John Podesta confirms that the Kenyan administration, Barack Obama plus Hillary Clinton plus Saudi Arabia plus Qatar founded ISIS, Dan Bongino on Telegram. Julian Assange, ISIS is funded by Saudi Arabia and Qatar. This is the most significant email in the whole collection. The government of Saudi and the government of Qatar that has been funding ISIS. Under Hillary Clinton and Clinton emails revealed. The largest ever arms deals in the world was made in Saudi Arabia, more than $80 billion. In fact, during her tenure as Secretary of State, total arms exports from the United States in terms of the dollar value doubled. In other words, during Hillary Clinton's time as Secretary of Bribery, the Obama's State Department approved massive arms sales, particularly to Saudi Arabia. The result was the rise of terrorist groups like ISIS, funded largely by the very people who were bribing the Clinton Foundation. In short, the death, the beheadings, and the destruction were in large part due to Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Our Sunday, March 15, 2026 200 years of Rothschild power, the banking dynasty at the center of global finance, Mr. Poole on Telegram. For more than 2 centuries, the Rothschild banking family has been at the center of debates about global finance, war funding, and the evolution of modern central banking. Their rise began in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, when Meyer Amschel Rothschild sent his 5 sons to establish banking houses across Europe, creating one of the first truly international financial networks. From London to Paris, Vienna, Frankfurt, and Naples, the Rothschild system specialized in government lending and sovereign debt, helping finance monarchies, infrastructure, and major wars across the continent. As global trade expanded, so did their influence. By the mid-1800s, the family's financial network had also reached the United States. In 1837, banker August Belmont arrived in New York and built strong ties within American banking circles and the Democratic Party. Belmont's connections helped link European capital with the rapidly growing American economy, making the U.S. a key market for international finance. Throughout the 19th century, wars often required massive borrowing from private banks. Historians note that European banking houses, including Rothschild affiliates, played major roles in financing governments during conflicts such as the Napoleonic Wars, the American Civil War, and later global conflicts. Critics argue that international finance sometimes benefited from wartime lending, while defenders say those loans were essential for governments facing enormous wartime expenses. By the late 1800s and early 1900s, the American economy entered the Gilded Age, when powerful industrialists and financiers, figures like J.P. Morgan and John D. Rockefeller, built massive corporate empires. During this period, financial consolidation and banking power became dominant forces in U.S. economic development. The turning point came in 1913, when the Federal Reserve System was created. Designed to stabilize the banking system after repeated financial panics, the Fed introduced a central banking structure that still governs U.S. monetary policy today. Some critics believe private banking interests shaped its creation, while economists generally view it as a response to financial instability in the early 20th century. Since then, the Rothschild name has remained associated with global finance, philanthropy, and international investment. At the same time, it has also become the subject of countless theories about hidden influence in politics and economics. What is undeniable is that the rise of global banking dynasties in the 19th century helped shape the modern financial system. The legacy of that era, central banks, international capital markets, and government debt financing, still defines how economies operate today. More than 200 years after the Rothschild network first emerged, the debate about who truly controls global finance and how economic power should be distributed continues to fuel political and economic discussions around the world. Sunday, March 15, 2026 breaking, Maduro implicates Pence and Pelosi in massive 2020 election probe, USA Department of Labor on Telegram. Former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has reportedly told federal investigators that Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi were lavished with millions of dollars, luxury vehicles, expensive jewelry and gold coins by Maduro's narco-terrorist regime in exchange for refusing to allow an investigation into the massive fraud that occurred in the 2020 election. In the 2020 election, Venezuelan bought and paid for voting machines and software known as Dominion and Smartmatic turned Trump votes to Biden. In other words, Pence and Pelosi took Venezuelan drug and blood money from a hostile foreign government whose drug trafficking activities have resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans every year, and in return they knowingly certified a stolen election, thereby robbing 80+ million Americans of their will and their voice. This is the political crime of the century that makes Watergate look like small potatoes. Maduro's cooperation and testimony is about to take down lots of powerful people who committed the ultimate betrayal against our country for their own personal gain. Arrest Pence and Pelosi now. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website ourdailyblog.com. Sincere thanks to all our audience. To continue watching videos without ads, you can subscribe via the Gumroad link below the description. If you want to watch the latest free videos, you can visit ourdailyblog.com. If you continue to love and support us, you can donate to us via GiveSendGo or PayPal or Gumroad link below the description. God bless us all.